Hello, and welcome. Today is April 4th. Today is our 4th episode. And yeah, lots of things are revolving around the number 4 today. I mean, everyone remembers Sky and 4, who doesn't?
Right.
But anyway, today is an incredibly special episode of the CHGO Sky Podcast. Later on today, we have 15-year veteran, Candice Dupree is joining our show. That's pretty cool. Anyway, if you're wondering who the heck we are, my name is Janice Scurio. You can follow me at Scuriosa, spelled Scuriiosa. And with me, as always, is my effervescent co-host, Subria Whitaker. Subria, how are you?
I'm doing good. And if anyone wants to follow along with me, you can follow me on Twitter at Subria Whitaker, Whitaker.
And you may follow the Chicago Sky Twitter, CHGO Sky Twitter account. That is CHGO_Sky. While you're at it, go ahead and follow CHGO Sports as well. That is CHGO_Sports. Anyway, we've got some fantastic news lined up for you. Like I mentioned before, we've got Candice Dupree, a 15-year WNBA veteran, the first ever draft pick. Drafted in that expansion year. We've also got some March Madness updates. We've got some trade news too. So let's go ahead and get underway. So some news from across the W. So as you may have heard, Lexi Brown has been traded to the Los Angeles Sparks for the rights to center Lee Yarou. So what can we expect from Lee? So she's essentially this 6'7" center. More about Lee. Her nickname is Baby Shaq. She's been compared quite a bit to Shaquille O'Neal, and she actually really likes that nickname. But she was drafted in the third round of the 2019 WNBA Draft by the Atlanta Dream. She wouldn't be eligible to play until 2020. To have Lee on the Sky should make an interesting dynamic, especially with Candace Parker around. The fact that she has that Baby Shaq nickname, I think, is pretty cool. So Lee was in fact signed to a rookie scale contract. And a little bit about her. So she averaged 14.8 points and 8.3 rebounds and shot nearly 80% from the field for the China women's basketball team in the Tokyo Olympics. She's from Shaanxi, China. She's currently playing for Inner Mongolia in the Women's Chinese Basketball Association and averaging 8 rebounds and 1.7 assists. Some other cool things about Lee. She's currently the second Asian player in Sky history. The first was Chen Nan in 2009. But there's a huge Chinese-American community in Chicago, a really fantastic opportunity to have international fans watch the Sky. She's also a very versatile player. She's a good free throw shooter. She can run the floor like a guard, can block shots. Right now the Sky is currently figuring out when she can come to Chicago. So Subria, some thoughts on this center acquisition?
I like it. I mean, I think, at least from what I've seen, especially like recently in the NCAA, but just in the W, it always helps to have people protecting the paint. Mm-hmm. I mean, we see how necessary defense is. And even though I think the Sky do a great job of, running up the floor, especially with, between Kai and Vandersloot and really fast-paced offense, I think that presence in the paint and just shut it down, lock it down, shut out defense, Sky and 4. I mean, I don't even know what else to say.
I'm sorry. Did you say 80% from the field?
Yeah.
That's got to be in any level of that has to be a record in any level of basketball. Pick up 80% from the field is a ridiculous stat.
Yeah, for sure. The highlights I've watched from her playing in the Olympics as well as China, like she just seems like she just dominates on the court.
She earned that nickname.
Yeah. And so, so the Sky so far with these front court signings. So at 6'4", you've got Candace Parker, you've got Emma Miesemann, Ruthie Hibbard. At 6'6", Azurá Stevens, and now at 6'7", Imani McGee-Stafford, and now Lee. This front court looks absolutely formidable so far.
Yeah, super scary, as they say. Scary hours for sure.
Anyway, we will miss Lexi. We'll definitely miss the tunnel fits, although she really didn't play all that much. So she only averaged 9.5 minutes per game last season. Still definitely really great depth in the backcourt. Played 17 games, 1.6 points per game. That's not excluding the postseason, by the way. But anyway, some of the best fits we've seen in the W. So that Sparks tunnel is going to see some really great outfits, I think.
Oh, for sure. I know we joked about it before with Diamond leaving and being part of like our tunnel fits crew, and how she probably won't be able to get her leather fits off as much in Phoenix. But I feel like as far as Lexi though, I think she was like made for LA. Like I think this is a great fit for her. And you mentioned the fact that she didn't play much. And, you know, with the type of team that we had just being so stacked, that's obviously always a problem with trying to figure out, you know, how do you give so many great players minutes? I mean, because you only have, you know, however many minutes are already in the game. But I think she showed in her season with Athletes Unlimited that just happened in Vegas, she is a force to be reckoned with. And I think that opportunity really got people, you know, a lot of people were saying that the Sky, you know, for lack of a better word, tweaked with not giving her as many minutes, that she really just needs an opportunity. And I think the way that the situation unfolded, it kind of sucked. I mean, obviously, you know, that's the business, that's how it works. But I am just really happy to see her get, you know, another opportunity after her injury and questions of if she would make it back this season that just passed. And when, you know, the Sky waived her and brought her back, I'm happy she got to be a champion. And I think wherever she goes, regardless of her minutes, that, you know, ability to speak to the experience of being a champion, understanding what that means and what to do, I think she'll be an asset to whatever team she goes. I'm just going to need, and I know she's joked about it too, I'm just going to need her to get off Twitter a little bit. But I'm happy to see her, you know, take on that vet role with the championship mentality, and I'm happy to see her. So another reason to make sure you are at that opener, because we have 32 days until our home opener against the LA Sparks.
That's right. We got a double revenge game on our hands.
Double revenge game. Lexi for the first time and Candace Parker playing for the first time. So interesting to see former teammates match up.
There's going to be some interesting dynamics there for sure. All right, so more Sky news overseas. So Kahleah Copper, we talked a little bit about her role playing for Avenida in the EuroLeague, but she is now the EuroLeague MVP. So she was voted by the fans as well as first in voting by the EuroLeague women coaches and the media. And as well as a joint second in polling of team captains. So a little bit more about what Ka did. So she led Avenida to an 11-3 record in the regular season. And about to step out at her first ever EuroLeague Women Final Four tournament after Avenida won the Queen's Cup yesterday. So how has she been doing in these games? So Avenida's been benefiting so greatly from that scoring power. So she's gotten 22.5 points per game so far. That is currently the highest in the competition. She's absolutely just dominating there. No surprise there. MVP stateside as well as MVP overseas. We certainly love to see it. Another cool accolade for Ka, she was also voted to the All-EuroLeague Women First Team alongside Satu Sabali and Alyssa Thomas. So, are you looking forward to having Ka come home? I mean, I know you are, but...
I mean, yes. Like, I mean, people have been asking, like, what do you think about Kai and just what she was able to do? I was telling someone the other day, I was going through my Sky stuff and I found a poster from her from years ago, back when Cappy Pondexter was here. And I was like, wow, like, Kai really has been with us for a while, but this growth has been absolutely amazing. And to see her completely take over and answer when her number is called with the Sky, then you get finals MVP, and now you're getting MVP in a whole other country in a brand new league for her is absolutely amazing to watch. Like, I'm so happy for her.
Some other fantastic news. So Candace Parker debuted the documentary Title IX, 37 Words That Changed America. So it is a documentary that tells compelling stories to empower and inspire all female athletes. So it aired on TBS on April 2nd. I'm sure they will be re-airing it again. But Candace Parker said, "I sit here because of Title IX. Although we have so many wins, we have so much further to go. That's why we went with having the Title IX story told through my eyes so that you can see that if Title IX didn't exist, I wouldn't exist." Now that is pretty powerful. So for those of you who are not familiar, Title IX is a federal civil rights law that reads that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Now, Subria, I actually haven't gotten a chance to check out the document. I'm assuming you have.
So with just it being Final Four weekend, the championship games yesterday, and, you know, we had an outing yesterday.
Yeah.
I actually haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, but I'm excited to watch it. I've read some tweets about it, and just the people that are involved. And so I'm looking forward to watching it. And then once I do, of course, I'm going to talk about it here. We can recap and yeah.
We'll give a full-on review. I actually learned about it from your Instagram story. I actually was scrolling through your Instagram and was like, oh, dang, okay, that's pretty cool. All right, neat.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to, grow the game via Instagram and social media.
All right, speaking of growing the game, you can grow your pocketbook in this way. So, let's see, where did it go? All right, so the best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you do that right this minute, you'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But wait, there's more. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. A little birdie tells me there is a super dope CHGO Sky shirt you could choose from. I would probably choose that one if I were you. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt, the Sky one, from the CHGO locker, all for making more than a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. So if you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will gladly help you out. So this is your home for live in-play betting. It just got even better, introducing PointsBet's new feature, Live College Basketball Same Game Parlay. And for the first time ever, you can build the perfect live same game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. You want more? Of course you do. You can boost your live same game parlays, watch live, parlay live, and boost live with PointsBet. And now online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish all through from your phone. Plus, during PointsBet Match Madness, all users can earn up to $100 in free bets. During each round, just place a $50 pregame wager and get a free $20 live bet to be used for that round. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Grow the game, Sky in 4. Anyway, moving on. We have a pretty cool segment coming up. So like I mentioned before, it is our 4th show on the 4th day of the 4th month of the year. What better first guest than the Sky's First overall draft pick and only player to wear the number 4 thus far. So, introducing 7-time All-Star, 5th all-time points leader in WNBA history with 6,728 points. The 7th all-time rebound leader with 3,066 rebounds. An all-time 2-point field goals leader with more than anyone else in league history. It is Chicago Sky legend, none other than Candice Dupree. Woo! Hi, Candace. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am very excited to have you on.
Same here. I'm still trying to figure out how you just read that points bet thing like that all in one breath.
I've had a little bit of practice, so yeah, after a while, it just kind of rolls off the tongue. It's really great. I'm really glad you found that amusing, though.
So speaking of points bet and talking about, everything with March Madness that's going on, are you someone that typically watches March Madness?
Usually, yes. Yeah.
So, I have a hint. Obviously, we kind of talked about this a little minute ago, but even before then, I already knew. But I'm still going to ask for everybody listening just so we can hear you say it. Were you watching that amazing history-making game last night?
Yes, I did.
And who were you rooting for those who may not know?
For those that may not know, the South Carolina Gamecocks, because I played for Don Staley at Temple.
So, quick question. Well, in a second, I'm going to ask you if you could please share with us like what that experience was like. But did you know that because you started Temple under Coach Staley and then joined Staley in 2006 as the only coach-player duo ever to compete against each other in the WNBA prior to her retirement, were you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay.
And
And what?
Yeah, at the time, yes.
Okay, so what was that like? Like, what does that mean to you to just be all over the history books for the WNBA?
Since I've been playing, I don't really think too much of it. I think once I retire and look back on it, it's like, damn, made history. Like, that's some legendary stuff right there. But being that I've just been playing like year after year after year, you don't actually take time to sit and process it.
So you didn't process anything with us. Not us, more like you all and the fans. But the celebration that we just had with the 25th year anniversary, like, how was that for you, processing that?
25th year? And I've been a part of 16 of them? It makes me feel really old. I've been around. It's like I tell people, like, I just finished my 16th season, and they're like, shut up. Like, you've been playing the league that long. And that's even like players that played before me and retired, like, before I got to the league. So, it's crazy that I've actually had the opportunity to play as long as I've had.
Okay, so I have something that I would like to say, but I don't want to make you feel even older. So I could tell you later, or I could tell you now. Which one would you like?
For it. Just put it out there.
Okay, so I think we've kind of talked about it before on the show for people who have been listening before. But I am actually born and raised in Chicago, South Side my whole life. First WNBA game I'm watching, it's the Sky. Don't know who they were playing. And then I see this player with this ponytail, and I'm like, who is it? Mind you, I'm like 8th grade, so I'm maybe like 13. Again, don't want to make you feel even older. But I'm just like, wow, I like her attitude. I like her sportsmanship, like everything she's displaying right now. And I can't
You thought all that at that age.
Yes, look, I don't make me call my mama because
you are really mature.
Thank you. I will happily call my mother because shortly after that, I'm like, I can't play a lick of basketball, can't dribble it, can't shoot it, can't do any of that. But as a soccer player, guess what my soccer number was because of this player?
Oh, wow. Number 4.
Yes, number 4. Became a Sky fan, walking around high school, telling everybody about the Sky. Might have worn my jersey a few times, but just letting you know. And I'm going to talk about this later with, I think, the issue of players not receiving their flowers in the moment when they can smell them. Like, I don't want you to feel like you have to wait to get your flowers until you retire, whenever that is. But just, just saying that you are the reason that I was such an avid Chicago Sky fan from just the 8th grade up through high school, college, and my first job was True Star magazine. And I'm like, True Star, you all need to give me media access. I need to go to these Sky games. And I just talked about the WNBA this, WNBA that. And now here we are in 2022 at 27. So 14 years later.
Yeah. We need more people like you.
Oh.
Support.
Don't tell me that. Thank you.
That's definitely kind of the goal that we had with this podcast. We definitely just wanted to reach a wider audience and just essentially just grow the game as much as we can.
Yes, and we can't do that without you, right? So we appreciate you, everyone here at CHGO Sports, and I'm sure even our sister stations everywhere, because I sent you a picture yesterday of someone that we were at a Blackhawks game, and I just happened to hear someone talking about how they were in the tournament for the bracket and that they were going to be number one in their bracket if South Carolina won. So I'm listening and you drop it from across the room and I'm like, well, what do you know about women's basketball? Because if I come on, I wouldn't be me if I didn't do that. And then of course he's like, and this is why you should mind your own business, because he's like, well, first of all, I used to work for the Mercury, and instantly I'm like, really? So, small world. But just having those conversations, talking about it, and then I said, well, guess what? I'm not supposed to tell anyone this, but we have a super special guest coming on the show tomorrow that I'm sure you're going to know. He was so excited when I said your name, and I hope he's listening right now to hear this little shout out. But just people are so excited and having those conversations. So thank you for taking your time out your day, coming on here so we can talk about growing the game and actually what that means to players, and just, doing what you all can do so we can tell your stories, give you your flowers and all that good stuff. So thank you.
It's greatly appreciated. I love what you guys are doing with the podcast. It's pretty cool.
Well, thank you. I hope you think this next segment is cool. And so we talked about the good stuff, the low-hanging fruit. So now we're going to get candid with Candace.
Woo!
So these are the tough questions that I think the fans really, really want to know, right? So the first question is, what is your favorite memory or accomplishment with the Chicago Sky?
First off, I want to say this. It's funny that you put Candid with Candace, because the owner of the Sky used to call me Candid Candace. Like, we always had meetings and he always wanted to pick my brain and ask questions, and Candid Candace. But to answer your question, you know what? My best memory is actually not an on-court memory. It's like all of the players that I had the opportunity to meet and play with when I first got to the WNBA. I was a rookie, and they all essentially already had experience because they were plucked from, all the other teams in the WNBA. And so that was probably like the biggest thing. And I still talk to quite a bit of those people that I played with. So probably the best part about being in Chicago.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
So who is your favorite team to play against, and your least favorite as well?
Favorite team to play against? I would probably have to say Phoenix, because Diana's such a shit talker, and she makes it so fun. Like just going back and forth with her. And then I think it's also fun because I played there and I know a lot of the players on that team. So I know we're competing against each other, but we tend to have a good time. You sneak a little comments in on the free throw line and stuff like that. So it's fun. The team that I like playing against the least, I don't know. Back in the day, it was Minnesota. Now, probably Seattle, because they have so many weapons. I mean, Jewel Lloyd, Stewie. I know Sue is old, but you leave her open. She's going to hit you with the three. So yeah, they're a powerful team and they're extremely hard to guard. So on the one hand, you enjoy the competition, but on the other, it's like, damn.
Well, what about so far in your career? What's been your favorite, not necessarily your favorite team to play for, but just your favorite place to live?
Favorite place to live? I really enjoyed my time in Chicago. Chicago's a great city. Definitely. I mean, we got to live right downtown, so it was a great experience. Phoenix is cool, but way too hot. Super hot there.
Aren't you from Florida?
Yeah, but it's like 115 degrees. That is brutal.
Okay.
It's like Florida or not. Like that's like it's like putting your face in an oven.
Oh, that's a great description.
So a little follow up to the Chicago question. So we love talking about food here at the CHGO Sky Podcast. We spent a good 15 minutes talking about Harold's in the intro last episode. So is there anything you particularly miss eating in Chicago, and any Chicago foods that you miss?
Well, actually, what's the big thing they have every summer?
Oh, the taste.
The taste, yeah.
There you go. The taste right there. That would be the best. And I used to be mad if we were on the road playing.
Hey, okay, that's a fair answer, but that's also like a politically correct cheating answer. So that doesn't work.
Yeah, because you kind of get a little bit of everything.
I like Harold's. Like anytime we play there, if I have the opportunity, I will try and get Harold's chicken.
Did you get though?
Huh?
What did you order though?
Wings.
With what on it?
I'm not getting nothing on my wings. What you want me to say? Salt, pepper, ketchup, hot sauce.
Oh my gosh. Okay, see, this is a problem.
The next day, I can't eat that. No.
That's fair. Yeah.
But you've never had mouth sauce?
Ew, no. I'm not a big kind of person. No.
Wow. Okay, I'm personally offended as like an unofficial ambassador of Harold's Chicken, Shack number 27 specifically. But it's funny that you say that though, because I had tweeted when Phoenix came here during the finals about Harold's Chicken. We talked about this on the last show. And I got a response from Coach Melvin, who I'm sure you're familiar with. And yes, and I was like, look, I got Harold's for you. If you just come and just like, kick it with me, let's talk WNBA, basketball, whatever. And so I go get the Harold's and we're like linking up to eat it. And she's eating dry Harold's. And I'm like, whoa, stop, blow the whistle, flag on the play, technical foul, a lot of stuff going on. Why are you not eating the mouth sauce on your Harold's? And even when she was here, she was like, I've just never put the mouth sauce on there, even though she's had Harold's before. So I kind of was like, nicely, I think you kind of like have to put it. Like, I'm like, it's kind of mandatory that you at least try it. And then we order Harold's again, and guess what? She put mouth sauce on her food. So I just feel like maybe you didn't eat it correctly.
I feel like you're judging me.
Yes.
Over chicken and some sauce?
No. Over mild sauce.
Mild sauce on fries is my personal love language. But it's not for everybody, though. It's not for everybody, but it's just really good.
So next time you come to Chicago, we're going to revisit this conversation, and I'll be waiting on you.
I'll try it with sauce, the mild sauce.
Thank you. So outside of Harold's, like, what was like your go-to meal, like that kept you, like your comfort food, I guess, of Chicago?
Oh my gosh. Do you know, I was a rookie. Do you know what I ate before every game?
What?
Portillo's, 2 chili cheese dogs, a strawberry shake, and fries.
Okay.
Okay. I can mess with that. I can mess with that.
Yeah, I was young. Now I would never. But yeah, that's what I ate for every game.
Did you?
And when I got to the arena, I was still hungry, and our trainer would have to get me like chicken tenders and fries or something.
That is incredible. That's incredible. Did you ever dip the fries in the milkshake, or was it all?
Gross. No.
Oh my.
But that is an excellent meal. I'm just picturing that in my head.
Great pregame meal. Ooh.
Okay, so you clearly found out very quickly what to do as a rookie is not necessarily what you do as a vet. So what advice with the WNBA draft coming up, and we've seen, recently just a lot of, I'll say, mishaps from players. What would be your advice to, I guess, the rookies turning sophomores and then the incoming rookies that are about to enter the league in like a week?
I think the biggest thing is you got to take care of your body first and foremost, because especially if you just finished an entire collegiate season and then you're moving straight into WNBA, like it's a grind. And now they're talking about playing like 3.5 games a week this summer. So definitely that. And when I say taking care of your body, it's like the nutrition aspect, the recovery aspect, like coming to camp, making sure you're in shape. Those are probably the biggest things.
Would you say a chili cheese dog is a good recovery food?
Probably not, but maybe in moderation. I don't know. Depends on how fast your metabolism is.
That's fair. What are your biggest, like the biggest differences that you see, maybe like equity wise, or just some things that you're like, okay, good job, WNBA. Like, I'm glad we've gotten here. Like, do you have any of those things from when you started to now?
Yeah, when I started, we had roommates on the road until you were 4 or 5 years in, and you got your own room. So now that's like a big thing. And you think about how many players are moms. Can you imagine them with another player in the room with their kids? Like, that would have been an issue. Obviously, the pay in the new CBA, the pay has gone up. So that's a big thing. Better hotels, like the accommodations and stuff. So there's definitely been growth and progress since from the time that I got into the league to now. It's moving in a positive direction.
Awesome. And what improvements do you think the league can still make?
Though, so it's okay to be politically correct on this.
Anything that will get you in trouble?
I don't know. I think the marketing could probably be better, for sure. I feel like, and I think players have been saying this for years, like they market the same faces instead of marketing the entire league. And obviously that'll help with the growth. I know people have talked about expansion teams. I don't know the inner workings of all of that, but I know there's always a lot of players that oftentimes get cut in training camp that in the past would have been good enough to make a WNBA roster. So I don't know how they go about getting more owners, more teams.
Would you ever be an owner?
Politically correct answer? I would, but you have to be prepared to take a hit early. And obviously it depends on like what city you're in, but it's got to be somewhere where it's got a big fan base. Otherwise you're going to be in the red year after year. So it's definitely a huge financial commitment.
What cities do you think can support an expansion team?
I try to think about places that have like top collegiate programs, but then I'm like, would those same people support WNBA teams? Mm-hmm. And I know like Connecticut, obviously they have a team like, and you see like, okay, the UConn people that go to the UConn games, they tend to come to the Connecticut games. But I just don't know. Like I've thought like Tennessee. Would Tennessee be a good place to have a WNBA team? Because basketball is so big there. One of the Carolinas, maybe. I know Charlotte used to have a team. I didn't think that was a bad place at all when they did have a team. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell. Somewhere in California other than LA. There was talk that like the Golden State Warriors, like their owners were looking at starting a WNBA team, but I'm not really sure what happened with all of that. But I think that would be a great place.
Interesting. I'm shocked you didn't say Florida.
There's too much like you can't, they tried Orlando, but you have Disney and you have Universal. Like there's so many other things that take away from that. And then Miami, like people are going to Miami to go to South Beach, like not go to watch WNBA games. And those were the two places that had teams, and one relocated to Connecticut and the other one just folded all together. So Florida's a tough market.
Hey, Candace, we have a question from one of our viewers, Sky Show Shy, in the comments. Says, Candace, what's your thoughts on WNBA Twitter, or in general, how social media plays into the WNBA positively or negatively? I think that's an interesting question.
Social media by who? The players? The league? Both? I don't know. I mean, the players, I think it's great all around. Like our society is eating social media up these days. So I think it's a good way, a good marketing tool, obviously, for the players and for the league. It can also be negative. Like some people don't pay attention to what they post, and then it brings, unfortunately, people focus on the negative attention because there are a lot of women's basketball haters out there. So the minute something negative goes up, that's like the only thing they focus on. So I think if you know how to utilize it for good and to build your brand, it's great.
That was a great question. Thank you, Sky Show Shy. And also, like a disclaimer, are you on Twitter? Like, I feel like you have a Twitter. Like, at one point you were like, no social media. And then you got social media and everyone was like, OMG, there's a Candice Dupree impersonator out here, right? and like, you're not on Twitter, right?
There are a lot. So I do have a Twitter page. I never get on it. So if there's one where like somebody's posting stuff, it's not me. I mean, my ponytail had a Twitter page at one point in time. So chances are it's not me.
Because I saw one that was like, the last post was in like 2013. And so I feel like then if you're not on Twitter, then maybe like, it's hard to conceptualize WNBA Twitter and all of the layers of WNBA Twitter if you're not there. I think you should enjoy your peace on Instagram and not Twitter.
No interest in getting into all that stuff like Twitter. No, I'm good.
That's very true. As someone who is terminally online, I would have advised against going on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure people say all types of crazy stuff on there. So I'm okay.
We got a question from Leah. Candace, what is your definition of growing the game?
Growing the game, I think the first thing, more teams is growing the game. I think growing the game is having players out in the community, being mentors, inspiring, empowering. That for me is the biggest thing. Like I like mentoring and knowing. For example, your story was great, that there are people out there watching, your every move and they look up to you. And so I think that's a part of growing the game is, getting out in the community. What else? Teaching this next generation about the game. Like I think about the AAU team that I sponsor, and it's tough because AAU is at the same time as our season. And I wish it wasn't, because these girls aspire to be where we are, but they never have an opportunity to watch it because, it's the same season. So I think that's a part of growing the game is these younger players looking up to you and you being a mentor.
Absolutely. Just getting new fans in the game and, just finding a community to talk about women's basketball. So I'm a new fan, actually. I've only been a Chicago Sky fan for about the past year or so. I do have to say, just like the community has been really fantastic. Like I love talking about women's basketball with others, and it's just been so much fun. So I also get to have this conversation with you as well. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
All right. Okay, I have one last question, and I'm not going to tell you how to answer it, but it's a question that you might be hesitant to answer.
Okay.
So, all right. 2 jerseys in my hand for those who are not watching and are listening. In my left hand, there is a Phoenix Mercury Candace Dupree jersey, and in my right hand is the OG Chicago Sky Candace Dupree jersey. And of course, everyone knows that these were the two teams to battle out last year for the championship. So,
I know it's coming.
Who were you rooting for last year in the championship game?
Neither. I'm not rooting for another WNBA team to win. It's something that I want to win.
You just find really good ways to dodge my questions.
One of those teams.
I mean, wow.
I'm not a fan. I'm a player. So no, I compete against them.
It's fair. Yeah, that's a fair answer, actually.
That's super fair. And we had talked about that before with, the NCAA season, and like there was like WNBA Twitter ate me up for my comments about like how friendly the teams were. I guess obviously give praise to South Carolina. Everyone loves South Carolina, but like when Howard was there was a lot of not necessarily fanning, but a little fanning, from Howard about South Carolina. And I was just like, wow, that was really interesting to me. Because kind of like you, I'm like, well, yeah, fan them, but maybe not like before you play them. Maybe like in the off season.
Like you do that, you're about to get blown out the water. Like, no, I would never. That's just me. That's just my mentality. I would never.
That's what I said. Okay, well, and like, so will your answer ever change, or is that going to be like the answer if I ask you this again in like 10 years? Like, if you could have picked someone to win the 2021 championship between the two, who would you pick? Or are you still going to give me the same answer?
I'm going to give you the same answer.
All right, that's fair. Okay. That's very fair.
One more question I saw, Candace, in the chat, which I thought was a good one, was just asking about, how much you're still following college basketball, and then who you think, that we just saw in the tournament is going to come in, who you're excited to watch in the league, or maybe a young player who entered the league in the last couple of years that you're excited to watch, their career continue.
I think I'm curious to see how Destiny Henderson does, since we're talking about Final Four teams right now. Very curious to see how she does. I think she's really good right now, so it'll be interesting. Coming to the league and playing point is extremely hard. So I'm curious to see how she does when she gets to the next level. Who else? I know it's a couple years, 1 year away. Aaliyah Boston, definitely want to see how she grows. Paige Beckers. As far as those that are in the league now, shoot, who are some of the youngins in the league right now? Anybody? The floor is open.
Sabrina?
And Michaela, I mean, really just the New York, like the new crew in New York has been really good.
Yeah, pretty much most of the Liberty roster is.
They're relatively young. Dallas is relatively young. So I'm curious to see how they do. Like they're getting better. Yeah, but I don't know about any other there's specific teams that I'm curious to see how they do. But player wise,
teams, the teams, what teams?
Well, like you guys said, New York, I think Dallas, because they are so young. Curious to see how Vegas is not young, but I'm curious to see how they do under Becky Hammon's leadership. And Cambasia's gone. Curious to see how LA does because Cambasia's there with Kennedy Carter. That'll be interesting.
Interesting dynamic for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. I know that they would never I know that like the league and Miss Kathy would never allow it. But I mean, my vote would be LA, right? If we could pick one team to give like a reality TV show to, my bet would be for Atlanta this upcoming season.
Oh yeah.
I mean, well, LA. Yeah.
Yeah. LA, yes, for sure.
For the outfits, yeah.
I've been trying to say, like, I think, and I've said this on Twitter, of course, probably Kathy would never, but I would like to see all the teams have like an orange carpet. Like, I mean, I know that they walk in, like sometimes LA's tunnel fits are like outside in the parking lot, and yeah, but I think orange carpet. How do you feel about that? Like, do you go into it like, oh, I'm about to get this fit off, or you just like, no, I'm comfortable?
I'm worried about the game. I don't care about what I'm wearing. See, here's the problem. A couple years ago, I played for a team that was so focused on that like they couldn't get it together for the games. And so our our president was like, okay, no more pregame photos. Like I had teammates that would take their pictures, look at them and not like them, and then leave the arena again and come back and have their photos taken again. Like
Oh my goodness.
Is out of control. Whoa. That's the problem with this generation. Yeah. Like you give an inch, they take a mile. If you can be a pro and do that and still go out there and do your job, by all means. But when you can't go out there and do your job because you're so focused on pregame photos, it's a problem.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, you have to remember what you're there for.
Well, yeah, and it's not that.
Okay, so what do you see from your experience like tend to be other distractions like outside? I never would have thought league fits were a distraction, but that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, some people like it's fine. You're a pro and you put your little outfit together and you get your pictures and you go back to the locker room and go about your business. But I think like I said earlier, if you know how to use social media for good, then it's great. But a lot of these people, like it just consumes them. And I'm like, yeah, I don't understand. So that's probably, I think, the biggest challenge. And that's at like every level, not even the WNBA, but that's college. It's a challenge.
That's fair.
That's very fair, yeah.
All right, so we're about to move on, and happy to hear your feedback from what I'm about to say for this next segment, which is court of law. You want to do the ad read? I can't find it.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, Candace, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure to have you as our first guest. I can't think of anyone more perfect to have on, our fourth show of the fourth month of the fourth day of the year. So, yeah, Sky and 4.
Yes. Okay. So before we get into court of law.
Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the fabulous organization known as CHGO. So there are podcasts like this one and live shows on every team, literally every day, along with post-game shows, premium written content for members at allchgo.com, dope merch for all teams, including the Sky. There's also a free shirt when you become a member and access to a members-only Discord called the CHGO Lounge, where you can yell at us or not, or say nice things to us. We love when people say nice things to us. But anyway, definitely please join CHGO. It is a really fun time, I promise. You'll have a really good time if you sign up. And yeah, you'll get you'll get access to fun content just like this. All right, moving on to our most famous segment called Court of Law.
So for those new to Court of Law, this is, the segment where I get to talk, in a sense, candidly about the things that I see that I don't necessarily agree with, or just controversial things that I would love to sound off on and get people's feedback who are with us live on YouTube and Twitter. So, as the judge on today's docket for Court of Law, I want to talk about the legends of the W versus the WNBA. So just, pretext, there's a video going around right now from legend Cheryl Swoops. Have either of you seen it? Do either of you know what I'm talking about?
No.
I have not seen it, no.
Okay, so she was honored during the festivities by Essence. I saw the video, I want to say earlier yesterday, if not Saturday, because I feel like all days with basketball run together. But over the weekend, she's doing an acceptance speech. Always love, like I said, when legends and GOATs get their flowers, she's getting her flowers. And she informs us that after she retired, the WNBA said, and I quote, "Thank you for your services, but we have to move on to someone else." The WNBA told the first player ever to be signed by the WNBA, a 3-time Olympic gold medalist, a WNBA champion, and Hall of Famer, and the first woman basketball player to have a signature athletic shoe, that it was time to move on to someone else. What are your thoughts?
Seems a little disrespectful to me.
A little, a lot disrespectful. If that actually did occur, yeah, that's not okay.
Okay, so I mean, I've kind of seen, and again, always be politically correct with us on here. I'm not mad at it, but just the retirements of people. Like, I will talk about, till I'm blue in the face, a Chicago legend, Cappie Pondexter, I do not think got her flowers. To this day, I still don't think she has gotten her flowers. I would like to see Simone Augustus get more flowers. So,
well, it's funny because I was just at the Final Four and I had a conversation with a former player, like she had retired before I got to the league, about the lack of respect / like the NBA does a lot of stuff for their former players, programs, all that kind of stuff. Like there's nothing for WNBA players. So I know that there was a town hall meeting with regard to that. And I heard that Cheryl Swoops went off. I do not know if there's any way to figure out what was discussed. Probably not, but it sounds like it might be a lot of the same stuff about what she said in her speech. So,
I mean, yeah, like even when the NBA just did their anniversary thing, I mean, and again, look, shout out to WNBA Twitter for that, because when we saw the picture of everybody, like, I mean, Michael Jordan was at like Daytona, and everybody was like, oh, Michael Jordan's not showing up for the, the legends and blah, blah, blah. And then, boom, he's like right there. And they had everyone there. They called everybody by name, and everybody got their shine. And listen, again, sorry, Miss Kathy, sorry, W. Like, I try to be politically correct too, because I don't want to offend like my favorite league. But I mean, I don't even think, because I wasn't there when they did it at the Phoenix game. They like, it was like a timeout, like not even halftime, like a timeout. And they were like, all right, everybody, come stand on the stage on the court real quick. We're going to take this photo. And then like, that was it. Oh, and here's some jackets, which were nice, by the way. Like, the person who made those jackets are here, and I did ask for like, can I get one on the side? And she was like, absolutely not. So no one try that. It's not gonna work. But absolutely. And I'll just act like you can't hear me, right? We agreed. I personally feel like at Kathy, at the W, and everybody else listening, that somebody in this show should have been on there who was not, and it was a snub, and I am personally offended. And that is, and look,
that is the ruling.
And that is the ruling, that somebody was snubbed.
Yeah,
extremely
I heard that
offensive.
Yeah. But like you said, and happy to have these conversations to be able to talk about it nicely, hear what you all think, because I think sometimes WNBA Twitter and just fans in general get lost, and we're on a mission and we're like, you all need to do this. And I feel like sometimes it's not elevating, players' voices, but sometimes replacing it. I'd rather we listen, ask questions, and get to know and be able to elevate. So thank you for answering and providing some info and shining light on that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else is up next on the docket. So over here, I think you meant Gino versus Candace Parker. Is that what you meant?
Yeah. Well, it would be Candace, because plaintiff. So Candace versus Gino and the CP3 legend. Are you familiar? with the legend of CP3?
No.
Okay, so the Twitter streets tell me that, well, these are the facts. Like, regardless of how anyone wants to spin it, right? The legend Candace Parker at Tennessee, Lady Vol for life, as they say. The entire time she was there, UConn did not win a championship. Candace and the Lady Vols won 2. Then fast forward to, 2013, I think 2013 to 2016, UConn dominates. Everybody at this point already knows the relationship between, Gino and Candace, not being able to win a championship. I get it. Like, cool. After they dominate and Candace has won Olympic golds with Team USA 2008, 2012, we get to 2016 and somebody who is leading the team in rebounds and blocks and fourth in scoring somehow does not make Team USA for 2016.
Yeah.
And fast forward, Candace Parker wins a ring with LA and then a ring in Chicago, and Gino and UConn have not won
Ever since he cut Candace from that 2016 Olympic team.
Correct.
So, is the legend of CP3 is that legit? I think it is. Like, you just spun the facts, and I think it is absolutely a curse. I think he's getting what he deserves.
I mean, Twitter, I accidentally went viral.
You did. You went viral. I saw
people
that.
Saying, he's not going to win anything until he does right by Candace.
Precisely. He needs to apologize to Candace if he thinks he's ever going to win anything again.
What are your thoughts? And again, you could just say, I plead the fifth.
I for sure plead the fifth on this one.
That's totally fair. Totally fair.
Totally fair and expected.
But Judge Subria, what is your ruling?
My ruling is that the restitution needs to be paid to Candace Parker in the form of an apology. I'm also going to throw a necessary apology in there to my girl NECA, and I just need people to do right by players, and the universe will work itself out. That's how I feel.
I've been there, so hey, I don't know what to tell you. It's politics.
Yeah, I know. But I just think, I don't know.
You look, hey, I'm just telling you, it's politics.
Politics, and some people in politics apparently are paying for their crimes, but I get it. Business is business.
Yep.
Politics rule the world.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all business, but we still got to do right by some players.
Yes. Players like you for, once again, the only player to wear the jersey probably up until this training camp. So I just feel like it should be in the rafters.
I think so,
soon
too.
Come,
You might be pushing it with that one.
You said what?
You might be pushing it with that request.
Oh, well, listen, I'll go up there myself. Look, I had the pleasure of meeting the GM of Wintrust. That's like my homie. I'll just, when no one's there, I'll just go in there and put this one up myself, and then boom, hang it in the rafters.
We'll hang it up in the CHGO rafters, actually. So like that is going to be just where we hang at least one of these jerseys, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a very deserving place.
We've got the Jordan one hanging on the stairs. That's a staircase behind you, so people don't realize how difficult it was to hang that jersey up.
Oh,
and we were having the same discussion when we got the Blackhawks jersey last night. Like, now we're going to have to get the special ladder for the staircase.
We'll just be hanging jerseys everywhere.
I heard that meant that Candace has to sign this jersey, and then I will photocopy it, and you can hang that in here, and then the original will just be at my house in a shadow box. Okay, thanks. So
I think that's very fitting. Other than that, that's pretty much our show. So those are the cases ruled by Judge Subria. Again, Candice Dupree, thank you so much for joining us. It has been an absolute honor to have you on as our first guest. And she may actually be the first player to join any CHGO podcast. I could be wrong about that, but I'm right?
You are right.
Oh my goodness.
Look, legend doing legend things.
Doing
Woo!
Legend things.
I appreciate it. Seriously though, I had a good time. Thank you for asking me to join the show, and I hope you guys get better from here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Candace. We really appreciate your time.
No problem.
All right, everybody, that's our show. As always, make sure you're following us on social media at CHGO_Sky. Check out this podcast on Apple, Spotify, whatever your choice, Twitter, and YouTube. And we will see you all again to talk about the WNBA Draft next week.
Peace.